Okay, so I hope you guys are doing good. This is going to be a new little segment that's going to come from the Student Ministries Department. Yes, and we're both going to sit like this the entire time. New little segment where we're going to deal with leader training, stuff going on in the high school ministry, keeping you guys all up to date on everything important, and hopefully making you laugh every once in a while doing it. Okay, so today, the big thing that we're going to start with on our training topics is
small group.
Thank you. Small
discussions.
Small group. Thank you. Awesome. And Jared's just going to interrupt me whenever he feels like it's an appropriate time, which will usually be never. So in small group, there's all kinds of different things you deal with. You deal with size of the group, personality dynamics, all kinds of fun stuff. One of the things that we deal with is
stinky kids.
Yes, stinky kids. And the questions we have to get through. So every week you get breakout questions. And there's 3 things that we want you to keep in mind when going through your breakout questions. And hopefully this will help. The first one, Jared, what's the first one?
Translating the question.
Yes, translating the question.
From Hebrew?
No, not from Hebrew. Okay, translating the question, though, a lot of you, when we look at the question, it's really easy to just look at it and try to read it right off of the page. The problem is, 1, the kids think that's lame. 2, everyone around you thinks that's lame. And 3, it really is lame. So what we want you to make sure that you're doing is reading through the questions and then translating it in a way that's actually helpful for your students. For freshmen, that question might sound slightly different than it would for a senior.
Right.
So
should be shorter.
Yes, should be
simpler,
shorter.
smaller words.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yes. And keep in mind, the questions that we give you are a guide. We want the basic things about that question covered in your small group, but you don't have to say it exactly that way. So there's going to be times where you'll word things a little differently and maybe give your own story or example, and that's okay. You know your group better than we do. Cool. What else? What's number 3?
Number 3? We're going from 1 to 3?
Yeah, and then we'll come back.
We'll come back to 2. All right, 1 to 3. The third one was rabbit trails.
Awesome. Yes, rabbit trails. And Jared, how do you deal with rabbit trails?
Unfortunately, sometimes I lead the rabbit trails.
That's true.
But generally, I just am blunt about getting us back on track. Straightforward. I don't try to transition the ridiculous topic that we're on into what we're talking about, although sometimes that's possible, but usually just a simple, hey, what about this question again?
Yes.
Yeah, something like that.
Nicely played.
Thanks.
See how good he is? Okay, great. Yeah, so rabbit trails. You want to try to avoid them unless you feel like, as a leader, that it really can be beneficial to the group and where the group's at. But most of the time, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say probably 95% of the time, it's a rabbit trail because it's not really relevant to what you're talking about.
Is this a wide-angle lens?
It is not a wide-angle lens.
Okay, because I feel
you're
like
just really that big.
I feel like I'm... Sorry, was that a rabbit trail?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
See, that was valid because I needed to reaffirm your... Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
So back to number 2, which we skipped and came back to.
We did.
And that would be... Yes.
Silence!
Yes, silence. See how we played on... Right. Yeah, silence. And is silence easy to deal with?
No.
No, it's not. See, and it was really hard for me because even in that split second, I wanted to answer it for him. Now, here's the deal. Sometimes silence can be really good. So a couple things to keep in mind about silence, especially the fact that we're still technically in the fall of the year. Number 1, some of your students just aren't ready to open up and share a ton yet. So when it's appropriate, pull them out, have them share specifically. Ask the question directly to a student, as long as it's not too super personal. But also keep in mind, sometimes silence is okay. A lot of the questions that we ask and things that we talk about really require the students to take more time to listen. So it's okay to have some silence. Don't feel like you have to fill it. Wait for the students to answer. Then, if you've waited for a couple seconds, minutes, whatever you feel comfortable with, if they're still not answering, ask them if they need the question rephrased. Sometimes it's just that they don't understand what you said. Sometimes I don't understand what you say. Sometimes you don't understand what I say. It's okay.
Sometimes
you have
you
visitors
even
like
get
Paul
interrupted.
Gunther. But that's okay, because then he just walks out.
Right.
So, thanks, guys.
I have one more suggestion on that.
Oh, gosh.
I'm sorry. I know you wanted to end it, but I have one more suggestion. Maybe you said it and I wasn't paying attention and looking at myself. The suggestion was to... I can't remember now. I'm way distracted.
Rabbit trails.
What was it? It was good. Oh, if they're not talking, sometimes you answering the question. Don't do this all the time, because then they'll get, it'll be a handicap. But sometimes you answering that will give them an idea of what kind of answer they want, and it'll give them time to think about how they're going to answer.
Very true.
All right.
And that last pound on the wall was brought to you by Paul Gunther Jr.
Right.
You can post any complaints or problems to his Facebook. All right. Thanks, guys. Hope this is helpful, and we look forward to seeing you guys at the next Uprising. See ya.
Bye.